Hello. For those of you who don't know, I am on a journey to beat every single PlayStation 2 game to ever exist. And progress has been, but we have beaten another 25 games, which brings us up to 75 total beaten. So we're back again doing another tier list of the last 25 games that I beat. So let's just get right into it. First up is Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. This game is a little unfair for me to even rate because I did beat it in a way, but I did a speed run of it to beat it, so I didn't actually play the game because it has a trick in it that allows you to completely skip the entire game. Literally, I beat the game in a minute and a half, so I can't really judge it, but it's Spyro, so it's probably a good game, but I'm just gonna put it in B because, like I said, I didn't actually play the game, so I can't really rate it. Next up is ATV Off-Road Fury. This game is pretty simple. It's an ATV off-road racing game. It's pretty much what the title says. All the game is you're just racing ATVs off-road and you gotta win the races to win the championships and beat all the tracks and win the game. It was fine. The physics were good. Like, I didn't really have much trouble with the racing, but I do know that one issue with the game, which I suppose isn't really an issue, just something that didn't really make a lot of sense. If I remember correctly, you basically had a few races in a championship and you have to get a certain place in the race, I believe, to get to the next race. However, the thing that didn't make sense about it is like, for example, the first race, I don't know if that's completely accurate, but like the first race in the championship, you have to get first place to move on. The second race, you have to get second place to move on. The third race, you have to get third place to move on. Something similar to that, which should be the opposite way around, surely. It should get harder as it goes on, not easier. So that didn't really make much sense. But besides that, the game was honestly fine. It was fun to play, but nothing to write home about. I'm gonna put it right in B tier. Middle of the road game. Next up, we got a good one. Tony Hawk's Underground. I feel like I don't need to explain how Tony Hawk works. Even if you haven't played any Tony Hawk games, surely you've at least seen them and you understand how they work. I personally have never played this Tony Hawk game at all before I played it for the channel, but I have played many other Tony Hawk games from my childhood. So I have a soft spot for Tony Hawk, so I already just think it's way above the rest of the games because nostalgia, but it's also a good game. I believe this is the first Tony Hawk game that has more of a storyline to it rather than just you're in a course or a map and you're just doing challenges. So it adds a little bit more to it. It's pretty good. I don't really know how much more to explain it. It's Tony Hawk. You're not playing as Tony Hawk this time. You're playing as a custom character. And I know I made mine absolutely beautiful. It was a pretty good story to it as well. You're trying to become a pro skater and it just takes you through the journey of becoming a pro skater. So it's good. It's Tony Hawk. I love it. A tier. Next, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. It's really obvious first. The story is the story of the SpongeBob movie. I think that's quite self-explanatory. And then we'll go right into the gameplay. And we'll say this. It's kind of ass. This game is just not that good. You reuse a lot of animations, aspects, sound effects, same ideas from previous SpongeBob games. The levels themselves were kind of meh. They reused a lot of the same ideas throughout the whole thing. It just kind of all blended together and didn't really make much of a coherent or fun game to play. It just overall was not my game, and which is sad because I love SpongeBob and I love platformers, but this game is just not good. The main issue is that they just like basically reused everything from previous games, so it's kind of not in its own game. It's just stuff reused from other ones, so it's just, I don't think they did a very good job with this one. I'm kind of thinking of putting it in D tier only because of the fact that it's just kind of pointless, but I think for now we're gonna put it in C tier. We might move it later, but that's where it's going for now. Next up is Peter Jackson's King Kong. This game is beautiful. First, before I say anything else, let me say this was a game I played in my childhood, so nostalgia does play a factor here. I'll just be 100% honest with you. However, with that being said, I think this is one of the best games that I have played so far on the PS2 because it's less of a game and more of an experience. Like, you're in the game, you're actually there experiencing it. It does such a great job with the storytelling. It sets the mood with all the music music and the ambience and everything that's going on. It has awesome cinematics. It's awesome. Everything about the gameplay is also, it just feels good. I don't remember there being anything bad with playing it gameplay wise. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the most amazing gameplay I've ever played in my life, but the gameplay mixed with the amazing storytelling is beautiful. It's really the story that carries this game. S tier, easy S tier for me. I just think it's an amazing game. Next up is Sly 2. I'm going to say now, because this is going to be a theme for a good chunk of these 25 games, is that it's a platformer. And I love platformers, so that's why I play so many, obviously. And Sly 2 was another game that I had as a kid that I used to play all the time. So nostalgia also plays a factor here. I just think Sly 2, and also just Sly in general, I think it's pretty cool. It's a group of misfit criminals, and they're doing criminal activities, but kind of for good. They're not like stealing from innocent people. They're like they're stopping bad guys from doing bad things, which is just cool. Stealing from them, shutting down their operations, all that good stuff. If I remember correctly, this is the one where you are getting back all of the clockwork parts that were scattered after you kill them in the first game. So you have to stop all the criminals from reviving the master criminal that wants to like murder the Sly Cooper family, which is just kind of awesome. I also like that in Sly 2 you play as all of the characters. It actually gives more of a reason for there to be all of them in it, and it's just an overall good experience. Sly also has the original idea of like all the glowy blue things that you can latch onto with Sly as you're doing the platforming. It's a cool and unique thing that helps it stand out. I'm putting Sly 2 in A tier. Next up, we have Star Wars Battlefront. Playing this was my first time ever playing Star Wars Battlefront, to my knowledge. I don't think it was that good. I don't recall there really being much of a story to it. The gameplay was pretty much the same throughout the entire thing. I also remember it being pretty easy. It just feels like Battlefield, like the modern day Battlefield, but Star Wars themed against bots, and there really wasn't much else to it. There wasn't that much levels. I mean, there was different environments, and you played as like the stormtroopers, and there was the Wookiees and whatnot. I don't really know Star Wars stuff. I just don't think it was really that good of a game. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but it just didn't stand out to me personally in any way that made it feel like a good game. Not a terrible game, but nothing that stands out. So I'm going to put it in C tier. However, next up is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Again, playing this was my first time playing it, and I did play it after the first Battlefront. This game is what the first one should have been. It just took the entire concept of Battlefront 1 and completely revamped it, made it so much better. There's actually like reasons behind the mission you're doing. You can actually play as characters that have lightsabers and other different special abilities that are unique to each level. There's space battles. There's just so much more to this game than the first one. After playing it, I felt like the first game was like a trial version, or an unfinished version of the game that was released. So it's just so much better. It's actually very fun, even though I don't even like Star Wars. I've never watched Star Wars, but I think it's just awesome. Star Wars Battlefront 2, A tier. Next up is Ultimate Spider-Man, which the funny thing about this game is that I remember playing a Spider-Man game in the past a while ago, and I thought it was this game, so I went to play it again, and it wasn't even the one I meant to play. But that has nothing to do with the game. That's just because I'm stupid. It will also say that I personally have no interest in not just Spider-Man, but just like superhero stuff in general. But I do think this game was pretty fun. I don't know any Spider-Man lore, so I don't know how accurate this story is to what was like in movies or comics or TV shows or whatever. I don't know if it's like an original story, but regardless of that, I do think that it was pretty good. Them going between Spider-Man and Venom, I thought was pretty well done. And the gameplay was pretty fun as well. I mean, as Spider-Man, it is always fun to be like zipping around the city, slinging your webs, swinging across buildings and stuff. The combat system was pretty simple, but it was easy to understand and not actually bad. You're still able to do a bunch of combos and stuff and different moves with your webs and things. So it was actually a pretty fun game. Even for someone that honestly does not care at all about Spider-Man, I thought it was pretty fun. I think I'm actually going to put the game in A tier. I thought it was pretty fun. And then next up is Space Chimps, which if you don't know is an animated movie from way back in the day from my childhood. First things first, the story of the game fully follows the movie. It literally uses the movie as cutscenes. I mean, that is kind of what you expect when they make games based off movies, but just saying. But surprisingly, this game is actually pretty good. Again, it's another platformer, so that's already up for me because again, I like platformers, but it was a pretty good length of a game. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short. The different sections were actually different, surprisingly. They throughout the game, there was still more types of platforming introduced. There was more moves to unlock with like new equipment, 2 characters to play as, which has slightly different move sets, and the platforming itself also felt pretty good. So strictly gameplay wise, I think it was actually decent, surprisingly, because it's Space Chimps. I mean, the story does unfortunately bring it down. However, I think it's a pretty good game, and I would recommend playing it if you like platformers. But I will put it just in B tier simply because of the story, even though like I said, the gameplay and the platforming is pretty damn good. And next up is Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, another classic game that I had never played until I played for this channel. And this game is exactly the type of game that I enjoy. Open world platforming, collectibles. I love games like this. It's similar to Battle for Bikini Bottom, where you have certain amount of goals or main collectibles in the level to collect, unlock more things and progress through the game. It's just the awesome classic system that I enjoy, especially with 3D platforms. I love 3D platformers. I mean, I love 2D platformers, but I love 3D platforms. They're just so much fun. The story was fine, I guess. It wasn't like too much of a story. At the same time, you don't really need that much of a story for like a platforming game like that. So that's not really a huge fault for me personally. So this is just a simple game that's right up my alley. It's an easy A tier. Next up is Time Crisis Zone. We'll just be straight up with this one. This game is pretty much useless. This is like one of the games that you have at an arcade that you're kind of on an on-rail shooter, shooting the screen, not getting shot, and progressing to the game. Look at what I'm showing you on the screen right now. That's all it is. There's not much to it. It's a pretty simple story, which I don't quite remember. There's something about terrorists. I don't know. It's just one of those things where if there's bad guys, I'm good guy, kill bad guy, win game. If it was an arcade game, cool, fine. Bringing it to console, pointless. So that's all. I'm just putting it in D tier. Not that it's a bad game, it just has no point of existing on a console. Next we have Ed, and Eddy, The Misadventures, which obviously is based off the cartoon Ed, and Eddy. This game doesn't really stand out that much, and the story is the 3 of you are just trying to scam people as they always do for money to get job breakers and stuff. So it's a pretty simple story. There is like original artwork, at least I think, for cutscenes and stuff, which I do like. The style of Ed, and Eddy is very nice. It brought back some nostalgia, which is always fun. There wasn't that much levels, so it wasn't a very long game, which honestly is a good thing, because for games like this that don't really have much to them, they're any longer, they just drag out and this gets kind of boring. But it was a good length. When it came to the platforming, it was not really jumping platforming, because how it is since there's Ed, and Eddy, you have just a group of them, you swap between the characters which have different main abilities, and the other 2 just follow behind you, whichever one you're controlling. So there was no jumping, because that would just be annoying with the AI following you. So it's just like walking across platforms and avoiding obstacles and stuff like that. So it's a slightly different platformer from what I'm used to. There is of course enemies throughout the game that you kind of smack around pretty easy. I think this is another game that kind of is just a game. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't amazing. I didn't hate it, but it's going in B tier. Am I mad that I played it? No. Would I ever have gone out of my way to play it? No. It's a game. It's alright. Next up is Pac-Man World 2, yet another platformer. And again, kind of the same points from earlier, the 3D platformer with things to collect everywhere. But to beat this game, you don't have to collect stuff, you just have to get to the end of the levels, which is fine as well. So the fact that there's stuff to collect is all just bonus stuff, which isn't a bad thing, but I do also like collecting stuff with purpose. Story is another pretty simple story. Basically, all your Pac-Man friends are in trouble from a big scary meanie guy, and you have to defeat them and save the village. That's pretty much it. The platforming was pretty good in this game. There wasn't a whole bunch of new things introduced throughout the game, but it was all solid. There was many different environments that had different things, different enemies. The overall game though is fantastic. Pac-Man World 2 is another great platformer from my childhood. It's going in A tier. Next up is Thrillville. In this game, again, I played it, but I didn't quite play it how I normally would play games. I did another speedrun of this game. However, this is a game that I have played normally in the past. If you don't know, which I feel like a lot of people do know, it's a theme park tycoon game. You have to build your theme park, upkeep it to keep people happy, make money, and make more rides, make roller coasters, make food stands, keep customers happy, unlock all the parks, and become a billionaire. So yeah, it's pretty fun. You're allowed to actually ride the rides you build. You're allowed to play the games that you build. And it's just a very interactive game. And it's just really fun. It's not as fun as an adult as it was as a kid, I'll be honest, but it is still a pretty fun game. So let's go on an A tier. Next up is Jeopardy. I don't think I really have to explain this at all. It's Jeopardy. If you know what Jeopardy is, that's what it is. It's one of the 20 billion versions of Jeopardy that was ever made on any consoles. It's Jeopardy. I played it, I beat it. If you like trivia games, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Let's put it in C tier. I mean, there's so many Jeopardies, I don't know why we need so many of them, but it's there. It's Jeopardy. Jeopardy, C tier, Jeopardy. Oh, and then we have an absolutely fantastic game, Mr. Bean. Yep. There's a Mr. Bean game, which is in the style of a Mr. Bean cartoon that I had no idea existed. Why is there a Mr. Bean cartoon? I don't know. Why is there a Mr. Bean cartoon video game? I also don't know. Unsurprisingly, this game was pretty shit. It's a very basic platformer that felt like a Flash game. It was pretty short. There's basically no story to it. It's a completely pointless game that has no reason to exist. What else would you expect from a Mr. Bean game? It was pointless, no reason, D tier, get out of my sight. Next up is Virtua Cop Elite Edition. First of all, Elite Edition of this game, there's a Virtua Cop 1 and a Virtua Cop 2, so this game is both those games put together. This is a very similar game to Time Crisis, an on-rail shooter that you would be playing at an arcade. So honestly, all the same points for Time Crisis Zone, sorry, the stand for this one. It's basically the same game that is fun at an arcade, but it has zero reason to exist on a home console with a controller. Again, not that it's a bad game, it's just on the PS2, it doesn't need to exist. D tier. Ooh, now we're coming up with the amazing Shrek portion of the video. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Shrek games on the PS2 that I played. I played them all, because I'm crazy. We'll start off with Shrek 2. Shrek 2 is a movie, so the story is based on the movie, which again, what else do you expect from a movie game? It's a platformer beat 'em up type thingy-majig. It's alright. It doesn't really stand out in any way. It's pretty simple with the fighting people and everything. There's just not a whole lot to it that makes it stand out in any way. And there's different characters to play as. There's slightly different things to do at the game. I don't know. It's another game that it just sort of exists. It kind of only exists, and probably, I mean, this goes for all the Shrek games. They're only there because people are going to buy them because they're Shrek. I'm just going to slap it right in B tier. The pretty middle of the road game once again, just like a lot of movie-based games or licensed games in general. But next is Shrek the Third. And Shrek the Third is pretty much the same game as Shrek 2. Again, it follows the movie of Shrek the Third, so it's slightly different in the different environments, the different characters you play as, and slightly different things throughout the game, but again, it's a platformer beat 'em up that really is not much different to Shrek 2. They seem like they're pretty much the same game, and again, it probably only exists because it's Shrek and people are gonna buy it so they can make money off it. It's just another middle-of-the-road game. You play as Shrek characters, you beat people up, you collect money and whatever. It's just a fine game. B tier, right in the middle. Not amazing, not terrible. It's a game. However, now we're moving on to the Shrek party games, which is just amazing. First up, we have Shrek's Carnival games. Carnival Craze. Shrek Carnival Time. This game, if you've ever seen the Carnival Games game on the Wii, imagine that, but it's Shrek. It's basically, you just take your Shrek ogre family to the carnival to have fun and you play carnival games. So it's just a mini game collection. That's all it is. And the thing is that I still don't know, even after doing research in the past, I do not know if this game is made by the same developers as the Carnival Games game. The box art has the same font. It is basically just the same game. I never found anything concrete that told me that it is made by the same creators. So this game could be a complete ripoff, and I have no idea. But regardless of that fact, it's just a Shrek themed minigame collection that if it were not Shrek themed, it would be pretty much completely pointless. I'll be honest, I did have fun, but in reality, there's no reason for this game to exist. It's just Shrek, another game they made just to make some money. It's going right in C tier. Now to the next Shrek game, Shrek's Smash and Crash Racing. Again, not much needed to explain this. It's a Shrek themed racing game. That's pretty much it. Imagine Mario Kart, just not as good, and Shrek. There's items to collect to attack people and benefit you. You just gotta race from the beginning of the course to the end of the course and win the race. So I feel like I'm depressed because I'm talking about these Shrek games now, because they're just so much fun. But again, it's another game that has no reason to exist. It wouldn't stand out in any way, shape, or form if it wasn't Shrek themed. Again, I will say it was not like completely terrible. It's kind of fun. I played it. It was pretty simple. It was pretty quick. Just the fact that there is no reason it should exist, I can't put it higher than C tier once again. Next up, we have Shrek Super Party. This is like Mario Party, except Shrek themed, and completely ass and makes no sense. This is probably the worst party game, like board game, Mario Party type game thingy majig, and probably the worst one of them to ever be created. The rules are so confusing. I played through it, I beat the game somehow. I really don't know how, because I don't know what I was doing. Nothing makes sense, and I was playing it. I don't even know how to explain it. You're just going around boards, you're collecting bug juice to get enough points to win, multiple paths to select, but it's kind of pointless because you make it to the end of the path and you collect points. But if someone else gets to those points, they reset. So there's never any reason to pick a path that someone's already on. So there really is no choice of the path you pick because you just go on one that someone's not on. You don't even roll. You put a ball in a thing, and you collect random items every time you go. Sometimes you just lose points randomly, sometimes you collect points randomly, sometimes there's mini games randomly. It made no sense. It's complete shit. It's ass duty balls. It's Shrek themed is the only reason why I even played it, but it's so ass. It's going to the very bottom of D tier. I hate this game. It is duty balls. But don't worry, because we have one more Shrek game. Shrek Super Slam, Shrek's version of Super Smash Bros. Because of course it is. A Shrek themed fighting game. That's what it is. 10 or so levels that you play as different characters, and you beat each other up, move on to the next one. That's it. There's not a lot of explaining to do here. A Shrek themed fighting game that again has no reason to exist. But to be fair, I did think it was pretty fun. I think the controls were pretty good. It felt pretty nice to play, actually, unironically. However, again, I'm only here talking about it because it's Shrek. That's the only reason I played it. Is the only reason that it exists is that it's Shrek. It wouldn't stand out in any way, honestly, if it wasn't Shrek. So again, right with the other Shrek games, C tier. Not a bad game, but there's no reason for it. And now, for our final game, we're leaving Shrekville and we're going to Springfield with the Simpsons Skateboarding, which is the Simpsons take on a skateboarding game. Obviously, it's called the Simpsons Skateboarding. First things first, it goes from level to level, and there's multiple things to do. There's multiple goals to complete on each level to unlock the next levels. It's Simpsons themed. The biggest problem with this game, which is the most important thing about a skateboarding game, is the physics of the game. The physics of this game made no sense. Basically, the board doesn't work. Like you can't jump, you like fall off of rails for no reason. In this game, you can do the same thing 50 times in a row and have a different result every single time, which is not good. Consistently inconsistent is a problem with this game. And I will be fair to it, there's upgrades you can unlock to increase your jump and your speed and height and stuff like that, which I never really tried to do in this game because I didn't realize how easy it actually was to unlock the money to up your stats. So I'm a little bit stupid in that front. I could have probably made it easier for myself, so it probably wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But even with that, I do think it's not the best game in the world. So it's just going right in C tier. That is the final game. That is our 75th game that we have beaten on this channel, which is pretty crazy. I'm almost at 100. It's been like 3 years. I'm going to be here forever. But hey, at least we'll have some fun doing it. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below, do you agree with my ratings? If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my opinions did not offend you too poorly. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.